Welcome to the 9th of April. I know it's been the 9th of April for 11 hours so far, but outside of that, welcome to another edition of Litter Media Live with the icon Mike Smith. I'm Dan Ramey, and Mr. Hand 2 is right there on camera today.
And we all coordinated with our shirts as to what we were going to wear today.
Our advisory committee decided that today is charcoal day.
The funny thing is, of course, listeners, is we didn't do any of that. It just turns out that way sometimes.
The funny thing is that nobody cares.
No,
but
you'd be surprised.
We like to put it out there.
You'd be surprised how much people want to know the inside story.
Do you think that's the case?
What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Perhaps we should have one of those cameras that just observes us throughout the day.
Some of that would be good. Some not.
We could see Mike rant every once in a while.
Oh.
If you've never seen Mike rant, it's...
It happens every 5 minutes, so you probably have.
Well,
the older he gets, it seems like it's more.
Then you need to see me in the afternoon.
Here he goes.
Because it's then just mellow.
You need to
chilled out in the old recliner.
That's
So
when he's had his chocolate chip cookies and his milk.
When you're around us is when you rant.
You bring the worst out of me, absolutely. At home, I'm just mellow.
You're just a grumpy old man.
Just mellow.
Welcome to the program.
Get off
here
my
today.
lawn!
Are you done?
Well, I had to fill the bill of what you build up for me there.
I mean, I stepped out of the house today just as a fighter jet was flying over top of the house at about 600 feet, and it was loud. It wasn't that loud as get off my lawn. Just ahead, we'll take a look at news, weather, sports, all that for you. This date in history as well. And today is Wednesday, right? Okay. I was fearful that we'd forgotten one of our features, but that's tomorrow. We'll do that tomorrow. All right. First, though, let's take a look at the forecast, and I see there's rain in it again.
I'm just not going to read that. I'm going to be Mr. Positive today. Mostly cloudy today with a high of 51. I'm not going to tell you that the National Weather Service is calling for rain tomorrow because I'm going to think positive.
Yeah, but if you add this up here, it only looks like there's about 17/10 of an inch that's going to rain.
Clouds on Friday and Saturday, maybe some sunshine, a little bit of it anyway, on Sunday. Mm-hmm. We're still kind of in that cool trend. I don't think we're going to see any 70s for a few days.
We were cool in the 70s, man. Bell bottoms.
Good weather for the runners, though, in the Buck 50.
Absolutely, which is coming up Friday afternoons. The first of 121 teams step off at 1 o'clock this coming. That's a record number, 121. Have you seen the signs out and about already?
In my backyard.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, because they run down the flood wall,
right
don't
past
they?
my house.
Yeah.
We should supply them with eggs to throw at Mike's house as they go by.
No, these people are nice. And I wave at them and encourage them as they go by.
If there's any egg throwing that happens during the event this weekend, you can blame Mr. Hand 2.
I know where he lives now.
It's a much more expensive throw, though, because eggs are more expensive than they used to.
That's true.
Unless you've got a chicken hatching eggs in your backyard. Yeah. Do you have that?
No, I just have Chuck.
Well,
he does not lay eggs.
He lives in town now, doesn't he? So isn't there a livestock issue, ordinance of something?
It depends on who you're talking to.
All right, we don't get too knee-deep into the chicken poo, I guess. But we will tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. They've been taking care of these issues for nearly 5 decades. Heating, cooling, and plumbing. If you have a need, click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com, which takes you to their website, accuratehvac.com.
It's the details that make the difference between good enough and simply the best. At Skag Power Equipment, the difference is in designing lawnmowers with your convenience and comfort in mind. At Skag, we believe that quality and substance matter, and that you'll appreciate the attention to detail and craftsmanship we put into every single product. Thick steel and heavy-duty components provide you with unmatched reliability and performance. Skag, simply the best.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Haynes Total Healthcare Center. For 50 plus years now, they've been taking care of chiropractic needs, physical therapy, and nutritional needs as well. If you've got a crick in your neck, you need that thing fixed, or maybe just some rehab on a shoulder, or whichever the case may be, they can help. Find out more about them when you click on this ad anywhere at littermedia.com, and it will take you right to hayneshealth.com. And while you're at our website, you'll be able to see some of the stories we're going to be discussing here on the show today. And that includes sports, which has baseball in it, and a whole lot more. That's just around the corner. But first, let's tell you about our visitors we had in studio with us yesterday. We visited with Chillicothe Civic Theater's Joey Manna and Megan Mosher, who were promoting the CCT's production of The Great Gatsby, opening tomorrow night, taking audiences back, it's hard to believe, 100 years to the roaring 1920s. Manna plays Jay Gatsby and explains his character's longing desire to capture the affection of Daisy, played by Mosher.
With Gatsby is he reinvents his whole life for one person. And I think we've all been there before in our lives, is reinventing something for somebody else or for something else. And Gatsby's whole passion in his life is Daisy, and he's focused tunnel visioned on that. Every decision he makes, every idea is for her throughout his entire life. And then once he has her, it's almost like, now what? Like, I have her now. And then his whole world starts crumbling away. And it's the whole play and the book. I've been in love with the book since I was a kid.
The Great Gatsby runs Thursday through Saturday nights this week and next at 7 p.m., plus this Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. at the theater on South Walnut Street in Chillicothe. Get tickets at cctoh.org.
If you drive by a lake that has a dam with it, oftentimes in the winter months you see it looking something like this. Not a whole lot of water. Well, with all of the rain we've had here over the last week or so, that's changed somewhat. Paint Creek Lake, which you're looking at here on TV, it crested at 835 feet yesterday. And they also received directive from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to start releasing stored water to get the lake back down to normal summer pool. Surveillance pool for Paint Creek Lake is typically 833 feet. And once the lake reaches that stage, they start ramping up their inspection efforts to ensure the dam is performing its job. Increasing monitoring helps to address potential issues or deficiencies to make sure the dam remains safe while it holds this amount of water. So if they're doing this at Paint Creek, they do it at Lake White, they do it at Rocky Fork, Hoover Dam, all of those places, while the water level's down, so they can make sure. Of course, Lake White had some major problems with their dam several years back, but that's all been corrected now.
I was driving by it the other day, and the runoff was just foaming up. God bless America from the white foam. That was what I was seeing. This was Saturday or Sunday I was over there. But the portion that goes back along 220, back into the away from the lake, it's very shallow through there. So there are logs that are laying out there, and I always used to think, why don't they go clean those out? Well, they need those for the fish habitants to make sure that they have a place to live right there in the water when they back it all up, which shouldn't be too much longer from now. Yeah, could be my guess. Ohio University Chillicothe, with support from its Education Advisory Committee and National Grid Renewables, is offering a STEM Education Professional Development Day for teachers of pre-K through 12th grade on Thursday, May 8th, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. This looks like it'll be a lot of fun to participate in. The Professional Development Day will take place primarily in Bennett Hall at Ohio University Chillicothe, but it will include a site visit to one of the NGR solar installations here in Ross County.
Washington Courthouse's annual Hike for Hospice, a community favorite for the last 34 years, will be held this Saturday, rain or shine. Hikers gather to walk in memory or in honor of a loved one. Activities for all ages, including a live DJ, kids' corner, and photo opportunities. It supports the mission of Ohio's Hospice from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Registration starts at 9 a.m. with the walk starting at 10. This is at Grace Community Church at 525 Glen Avenue in Washington Courthouse.
The U.S. Department of Transportation's National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is launching a national high-visibility enforcement effort April 10th through the 14th. So it starts tomorrow to deter distracted driving. Law enforcement, and as soon as I start saying this, he picks up his phone over here on the left, starts texting. The law enforcement officers nationwide will work together to enforce texting and distracted driving laws and remind drivers, put the phone away or pay. That was my best Mike Smith. The effort comes during April, which is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month.
It wasn't convincing. I was not a bit afraid.
Let me try it differently then. Put the phone away or pay.
There you go. Attaboy. Miami Trace Middle School is having their Disney High School Musical Junior. That showtime is 6:30 p.m. this Saturday, Sunday 2:30. If you want to go, you can get tickets at the gate for $5.
The Pyrus caloriana is a pear tree.
Watch your mouth.
Some also call it just calorie, just for the heck of it. This invasive tree is illegal to sell and plant here in Ohio. In fact, nurseries are even encouraged to destroy those that they have in stock. So if you're looking for a beautiful alternative, tree specialists at The Ohio State University suggest white craneapple, also a crabapple, also dogwoods and white eastern redbud, among others. You can learn more when you go to their website, bygl.osu.edu. If you forgot that, think of Buckeye Yard and Garden Online. And your word for the day is dendrologist.
Or you can go to your nearest OSU Ag Extension office and they can help you out.
And say, I want to see the dendrologist.
It's down the hall and to the right. Ohio Tourism Day will be coming up May 13th at the Ohio Statehouse from 11 to 1 that day. You can come plan your summer adventures for 130 plus Ohio destinations. Among those planning to attend that day will be Scioto Society to talk about the outdoor drama Tecumseh. The event is free, family-friendly, and full of travel inspiration.
This is always a big day also for the Ross Chillicothe Convention and Visitors Bureau, so don't be surprised if you see Gene and Melody there from RCCVB.
Road report stays in Chillicothe today. East 5th Street is closed now through Friday. Between South Mulberry and South Hickory Street, more gas line repairs being done in that location.
Working on the pipes.
Yes, sir.
All right, coming up in a moment to look at sports. We've got some big sports news to share with you if you haven't already heard from what we shared yesterday and last night. But I did go back and forth in a text with Brandon Noel. We have his words coming up in just a bit.
And you weren't driving at the time?
No. Because this would have been close to midnight last night. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, they're driving all over the place and not texting, but they'll stop to take a look to say, hey, I want to have you come bring a dumpster. If you have texted them or called them at 740-253-8389, they can get that taken care of for you. Scioto Valley Dumpsters.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier. Transactions are getting safer. And you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our Kingston National Bank mobility app today.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down. Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
Going on now, Hometown Motors Incorporated, 818 Eastern Avenue in Chillicothe. Their spring sales event continues. You know, Mike, they have riding tractors starting at just $1699.99.
I've been told that.
Zero-turn mowers, new ones, starting at $3399.99. New walk-behind starting at just $399.99. New chainsaw starting at $279.99. New blower starting at $199.99. New trimmers starting at $229.99. And if you've not seen them, stop in and take a look at the Ferrari tractors they have as well. Hurry in to get the best selection while supplies is still in the store, because at prices like this, they won't last long. Hometown Motors, your store for the outdoors. In sports, we begin with Chillicothe's Brandon Noel. I should say Wright State's Brandon Noel is how it has been the last few years. He's not done yet with college basketball. The 6'8" forward plans to commit to Ohio State. In fact, he already has to play next season. He averaged 19 points and 8 rebounds per game this season for the Raiders at Wright State, and he has won numerous awards through the Horizon League and tournaments that they've played in. And I asked him, I said, so tell me, Brandon, what steered you to head to Ohio State? And he says, lots of things drew me. Good people on the staff, the chance to win a lot of games, to play with the good players they have there, being able to play close to home for the team I grew up watching on TV and going to games to watch. But he's also still working on that master's degree for chemistry. Mm-hmm. I think the ability to go and have somebody continue to pay for your education
that's always nice.
And getting your master's, why not? He was redshirted his freshman and sophomore seasons at Wright State, so that gave him an extra year of eligibility, and that's what he's using at Ohio State. He got his degree at Wright State. He had begun working on his master's last year, as he told us in an interview that we did with him that you can find on YouTube. But just congratulations to this kid. He came to Chillicothe as a young sophomore, moved here from Lucasville, and really helped Chillicothe get back on track as far as winning was concerned with basketball. He, of course, he had an ensemble that we have talked about over and over again with, can you remember who the kids are?
I wasn't the voice of the Cavaliers, you were.
Trey Beard. Remember this kid, Javon Moffmer? And also there was, this is horrible, Vinny, I can't remember Vinny's last name off the top of my head, but it'll come to me before the show's done, I'm sure. But
wasn't Beverly, was it?
No, he went to up to Kent State Tuscarawas and was also playing in a national tournament. So you had Trey Beard, who won a national championship his freshman year, Javon Moffmer in the NCAA March Madness at Liberty College this year, plus won the national championship with Cedarville College the year before, and Vinny Roper, I knew it would come to me, Vinny Roper at Kent State. And again, to this guy, they were all teammates, Brandon Noel. Congratulations, Brandon, and good luck with the Buckeyes.
Chillicothe Boys Tennis made some noise last night. They ended one of the longest regular season high school winning streaks in Southern Ohio of any sport with a 3-2 match win over Waverly. The Cavs' victory stopped the Tigers' 113-match regular season winning streak, which dates back several years. The match was tied at 2-2 and came down to the first doubles team, which the Cavs lost the first set 4-6, then came back and won 6-1, 6-3 to seal the victory. Congratulations on a monumental win for Chillicothe Boys Tennis, but also a tip of the cap to Waverly for having had that 113-match regular season win streak.
And now Coach is going, we got to start over.
Start all over again.
We appreciate Coach for helping us out because he's been a huge help with us with both girls and boys tennis down at Waverly. Wheelersburg boys and Waverly girls won the Piketon Invitational track and field meet last night. The girls match, Waverly nips Adina 156 to 155 for that win.
And really, no one, they doubled up everybody else. Now, on the boys' side, Wheelersburg won by a pretty hefty score, 223.5, and that's, again, double what Waverly had. So,
and Aaron Glandon was there with his teeth chattering because it was cold, right?
It was a little
and once
chilly.
again, he dressed for the weather, as he always does.
I was wearing a hoodie.
And not a parka. A parka would have been better than a hoodie yesterday, though, I'm sure, right?
But all this to say, keep an eye out on our Facebook page for a photo album later in the day.
That's what I was getting to. He was there with his camera. They might be a little blurry from shaking because he was chattering with his teeth, like I said.
OHSAA has come out with their information on where all of the spring state championships will be held. Again, this year, we were just talking about tennis a while ago for the boys. They're going to still be at Worcester for a second year in a row. Boys volleyball, again, back at Wittenberg. The state track and field championships returned to Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium at Ohio State. They were at Dayton last year because they were doing some renovation work at the Jess. And the softball and baseball tournaments both expand from 4 divisions to 7. All 21 state softball tournament games are at the historic Firestone Stadium, which, by the way, turns a century old this year.
Which we're seeing on camera right
Yes,
here.
sir. That's where that is. All of the baseball tournament games will be in Northeast Ohio. Canal Park in Akron hosts 13 of the games, including all 7 state baseball championship games. Thurman Munson Stadium in Canton, which I've been to many years ago, will host 8 semifinal contests. And the lacrosse state finals return to historic Crew Stadium in Columbus for a 4th consecutive year.
And we've not heard from Alan Hawk this year. The only lacrosse team we have around here, the Lady Cavaliers. So, Alan, let us know how things are going with. Of course, I could reach out to him, I suppose, and remind
If you
him
got his
as
text, just don't do it while you're driving.
well. Precisely. We don't want to get in trouble.
Nope.
Tuesday's high school scores. We got them on our scoreboard.
Yeah, SVC baseball. This was a game that had been postponed from the day before. Zane Trace stays undefeated. FAC action, Miami Trace still unbeaten, so is Jackson. Washington beats Chillicothe. And the SOC 3, Waverly, South Webster, Wheelersburg all winners. Non-conference play, Westfall opening some eyes here. They had a big win over Huntington in the conference play, and then they beat Fairfield Union. And then in softball, this one was a wild one last night in the FAC. Hillsborough held on to beat Jackson 10-8 in 8 innings. Hillsborough had a sizable lead. Jackson came back and tied it at 7. Then they went to the extra frames. Hillsborough still undefeated in the FAC. So is Chillicothe after they drilled Washington for a second straight day. I think it was 25-2 the day before, 26-2 yesterday. Miami Trace ladies also a winner, and there's a full slate of all of those scores on our website story, along with boys high school volleyball.
Stop the presses. Put that back up there again. Western?
Yeah.
24-1 over New Boston?
Yes. And the baseball team also won.
I don't know that might be Western's first win on this season. Softball.
Could be.
So congratulations to our Indian buddies.
And then in volleyball, Chillicothe boys a winner over Westfall last night.
Saginaw Valley Youth League opens up this coming Saturday. I remember we were there a couple of years ago for their opening day events and everything. They're hosting a tenderloin sale along with many other fun things in the park this Saturday. It all starts at 11 a.m. Tenderloins will be sold at $8 each for the sandwiches starting around 11 a.m. The games themselves begin at 9 a.m. Opening ceremonies won't be until later in the day. And that's where some of the kids already have their uniforms dirty from sliding in the dirt and everything. But they'll still be there for all the photos at 3 p.m. Good luck, kids. It's always a fun time, and Mary Lou Patton Park just comes to life.
And I played there many, many years ago. The Reds seem to be stuck on 1-0, but
this is the good side to be stuck on.
They got a win last night over the Giants to clinch that 3-game series. They have a chance to sweep the Giants when they play at 3:45 this afternoon. Speaking of being stuck on 1-0, the Guardians' home opener 1-0 over the White Sox last night.
And the Cleveland Cavaliers 135-113 over the Bulls. This is the 20th time I think they've scored more than 130 points in a game this year. And they've scored more than 120 points. What was it I saw? 52 times this year, 45 times. Incredible, their offensive efforts. I don't know that anybody can stop them. I hope nobody can stop them. It would be great to see them win the NBA championship. And the Columbus Blue Jackets are still alive. There is pulse still in the wrist when you feel it for right there. 5-2 winners over Ottawa, who hit them up last weekend, but this time they win it.
But even though Ottawa lost, they clinched the playoff spot because one of the other teams that got beat give them a playoff spot. So, again, time still running out on the Jackets. I think the magic number going back to the Cleveland Cavaliers has got to be down to like 3 or 4 now to clinch the Eastern Conference home court advantage. Boston is the only one that's within range.
I was thinking I heard that they clinched the number 1 spot last night.
That very well could be. Because Boston was playing the Knicks, and they were behind, so I didn't stay with that to see how that came out.
I think that was the case. So, all right. We'll double-check during the break. Coming up, this date in history, we dial it back to
1865. And, yes, this does have to do with the Civil War this time.
Details coming up.
Custom tank colors and wraps. Find out how a propane tank can be beautiful at litterpropane.com.
Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. No purchase necessary. Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old. Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Life. It can get on top of you quickly, can't it? But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad on littermedia.com.
And before we get to this date in history, I just want to clear up, we did track this down. Cleveland Cavaliers did claim the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference overall with their win last night, so congratulations. Might see some of the starters now kind of getting some rest because this second season in the NBA is going to last 2 months if you keep winning.
And they don't have any chance of catching Oklahoma City for the overall NBA best record, so why not rest them up?
Unless they win out and they rest all the Oklahoma City players. And they lose some games.
Doubt that that's going to happen.
You never know. All right. This date in history takes us back to 1865.
Yes. in the village of Appomattox Courthouse.
Give me that sword.
Down in Virginia, Robert A. Lee surrenders his 28,000 Confederate troops to Union General Ulysses S. Grant, effectively ending the American Civil War. Forced to abandon the Confederate capital of Richmond, blocked from joining the surviving Confederate force in North Carolina, and harassed constantly by Union cavalry, Lee had no other option.
And Mr. Hand II's ancestors were not happy.
And, I'll just leave it there. I'm not picking on anybody today.
Were they all down in Mississippi at the time? You don't know? Mr. Hand throws his hands in the air.
He hasn't looked up his family history, apparently. So,
we talked about him looking like Jonathan Roumie the other day with his hair and the beard and all that. He also could kind of look like a Confederate soldier.
Rebel yell. I want to hear the rebel yell. Yeah.
My parents say Barry Gibb.
Yeah.
Without the glasses, it might, maybe.
I think they're being nice to you. So.
Probably.
They just love you so much,
Have you, and you might remember this, Mike. I don't know if the picture is still there, but
in the church.
We had a blood drive. One of the first blood drives we had was inside the fellowship area of the United Methodist Church on Walnut Street. And there is a photo of Jesus, portrait.
Yeah.
And he's, if I'm not mistaken, he's kind of laughing.
Yeah.
And so he's expressing laughter and looks like Barry Gibb.
And in fact, Jim Day came down and said, "What's Barry Gibb's painting doing up there?" Yeah.
It's Jesus, Jim. Let me introduce you to Jesus.
Oh, no. I think he knows him.
We were talking about Jim Day this morning. Today is Jim Day at Huntington Elementary. So as we're getting ready, Amelia getting ready for school, I said, "Hey, today's Jim Day. Would you like to meet Jim Day?" And she looks at me like,
"What are you talking about?
What's a gym? I see the gym whenever I go in on gym." No, I mean a person. Mm-hmm. Who's that? And so I said, "Oh, he's a guy who complains about the Reds, complains about the Green Bay Packers, and laughs at a lot of things, and he's a big eater."
I haven't talked to Jim about the Reds this year. I don't know what his take is.
Right now, you could probably get a nice conversation. 2 days ago, not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah. So there's 140-some games left, right? I think there's 100. Is they're now 5 and 7s? That'd be 12 away from
162.
So there's 150 games left for the regular season.
Hopefully, regular season. We hope more, though, with the postseason.
Amen.
I'm going to believe in you this year.
We're riding that Tito
at
bus.
least until the end of May.
Yeah.
You got to the end of May to convince Jim Day.
And they've got a better record than the Guardians. And remember,
that's true.
For so many years, when you had to be there the right decade, but how often you heard then Indians fans say, "All right, it's May, let's start rooting for the Browns," that kind of thing. And then they went on that nice run in the 1990s.
Yeah.
And then it was like, hey, forget about the Browns for a while. Let's enjoy this.
Mm-hmm. You ought to contact some of your connections, and we could go down on a businessman, or they don't call it businessman special anymore. No. What do they call it?
It's an afternoon game.
Early afternoon game. And to see if Aaron can buy us some bratwurst or
he probably has closer connections than I do.
That's right. I think you're right.
And
he could make some connections.
I do still have...
Get us down to third base line. We'll get a foul ball.
Joe Zierhusen is still doing the public address announcing. Mm-hmm. However, I think he has retired from the Reds.
I think that's right.
He's not coordinating the Reds broadcasts anymore. But... He went through a bout with cancer.
Yeah.
And I remember when he returned to the microphone, Joseph Daniel Votto steps up behind and points up at the broadcast booth. That was pretty good. Yeah. I like that.
Wasn't there some talk that Joey was supposed to come back and help the Reds in some capacity?
I think that was someone's idea, and I think it could probably happen. You might see something down the road, maybe later this summer, because right now he's enjoying his first relief of being an everyday player and that stuff. But I could see him being a part of the broadcast crew at some point in time, or maybe into their social media stuff. Yeah. Why don't you reach out to your buddy at the Cincinnati Reds?
Use those connections, man.
Yeah. Well, what are college buddies for, right?
Raise the skids.
Right now he's thinking, can you get me a job out of this job right now? All right, that's it for today's program. Tomorrow we have the Ross County Commissioners, or a commissioner will be here. We don't know what time.
Right.
Sometime
it may
tomorrow
even affect the start time of this program.
It very well could do that. But then again, it depends on how long their meeting is.
Right.
So they have a special meeting, so maybe we can find out what that meeting was all about.
That's one of the reasons we have them in. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They share details. All right. So that is tomorrow morning at some point in time. But if they don't show up before 11, we'll do this show and then make them part of the show.
It's okay.
We could do that too. All right. That's it for the program today. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening on Litter Media Radio. For Mike Smith, the icon, Mr. Hand 2. Mr. Hand 2, that's your cue. Enjoy the rest of the day. We'll see you again tomorrow on Litter Media Live.